Hello everyone, more birthday shenanigans with the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth, a commander deck, the Riders of Rohan. I did not open up anything of this particular set, as it were. Yeah, and I'm really glad to be opening it up as we speak. There is also, of course, a collector booster in here, which is, very, well, at least a sample collector booster, so not an entire booster. That would be silly. Of course, why not? Yeah, so... Oh, there we go. It has some punch outs here, which I will be using because I'm punching these out as of late. Because there may be some useful stuff in here. I mean, +1/+1 counters, I have tokens for those. But not like these kind of things. I don't even know what it is. A shield, anything. Stuff like that. Okay, so we have the collector booster pack sample. We have a token pack, which we'll go through right away. And of course the deck itself. We have a little deck box here with Aragorn on there and Eoden, I think. Eowyn? Eowyn, of course, not Eoden. A spin down, well, not so much as, well, literally spin down. And a booklet about how to play the game and what is in here. Eowyn, of course, not Eodin. Or am I kidding? Oh my goodness. Right. Token pack, Eowyn, the Shield Mage. Shield Maiden. Really butchering up Eowyn and her title. Right. So it's a 5 mana 5/4 first strike. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human enters the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then if you control 6 or more humans, draw a card. Then as for the tokens, we have a human soldier, which flips into a human. Very nice. Another human soldier that flips into a human. Very cool, so we have those. A human soldier that flips into a human. Another one that flips again into a human. We have a human knight. These are the tokens that Eowyn creates. With still the same human back. Only humans? No, wait. We have a treasure. And the treasure flips into another human. My goodness. Another treasure and a human. A treasure and a monarch. Ooh, that is beautiful. That is some beautiful monarch art. Right there. Oh, look at that. Very cool. And we have, of course, the ring. Which can be ripped to pieces, which I won't. Even though I got quite some rings. Tokens, not the rings. Right, and let's just see who they decided to put into the decks. Of course, we know about Eowyn, and she cares about humans, so it must be a lot of humans. We have Aragorn, the King of Gondor, which is a 4 mana 4/4 vigilance and lifelink. When Aragorn, King of Gondor, enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. So that's what the monarch token is for. Whenever Aragorn attacks, up to 1 target creature can't block this turn. If you're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn. You have a card on your turn. Then we go over to the deck. Now then, yeah, I'll just go over the deck. Like I always do. Beregond of the Guard. For 4 it's a 3/3. And whenever Beregond of the Guard or another human enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Champions of Minas Tirith. For 6 it's a 4/6. When they enter the battlefield you become the monarch. At the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, if you're the monarch, that opponent may pay X, where X is the number of cards in their hand, and if they don't, they can't attack you this turn. Gilrain, the Dunedain Protector. For 3, it's a 2/3, and for 2 and tap. Exile another target creature you control. You may return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If you don't, at the beginning of your next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a vigilance counter and a lifelink counter on it. Ooh, I like that they did some language thingies in there. Grey Host Reinforcements. For 4, it's a 1/1 flying ward 3. When they enter the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of creature cards exiled this way. For 4, we have a Lotr Captain for 3/1. First strike. When it or another human enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. And at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Archivist of Gondor for 3, it's a 2/3. When your commander deals combat damage to a player, if there is no monarch, you become the monarch. At the beginning of the monarch's end step, that player draws a card. Oh, interesting. Denethor, the Stone Seer. For 2, it's a 1/3. And when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Then for 4, which includes red, if you sacrifice it, target player becomes the monarch, and Denethor deals 3 damage to any target. Fealty to the Realm for 5, it's an aura enchant creature. When Fealty of the Realm enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. The monarch controls enchanted creature. Ooh, nice. Enchanted creature attacks each combat if able and can't attack you. Okay, that's really interesting. For 5, we have Call for Aid. Yeah, of course. It's a sorcery. Gain control of all creatures target opponent controls until the end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until the end of the turn, and you can't attack that player this turn. You can sacrifice those creatures this turn. My goodness. Gimli of the Glittering Caves. For 3, it's a 1/1 with double strike, and this is all at the end of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he goes to the Glittering Caves and becomes a leader over there. So whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Gimli of the Glittering Caves. Then whenever Gimli deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. We have Boromir, Gondor's Hope. For 4, it's a 3/4, and whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a human or artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Eomer, King of Rohan. For 5, it's a 2/2 double strike, and when it enters the battlefield, with a +1/+1 counter on it, for each other human you control. Ooh, that can be crazy. When Eomer enters the battlefield, target player becomes the monarch. Eomer deals damage equal to its power to any target. Faramir, the Steward of Gondor. For 3, it's a 2/2. Whenever a legendary creature with mana value 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you become the monarch. And at the beginning of your end step, if you're the monarch, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. 4th, Eorlingas. For 2 and X, sorcery, create X 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. And whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to 1 or more players this turn, you become the monarch. Then we have the Oath of the Earl. Oath of Earl. Eorl. For 5, it's a saga. Chapter 1 says create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. Chapter 2 create 2 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. And then for 3, put an indestructible counter on up to 1 target human. You become the monarch. The Riders of Rohan. For 5, it's a 4/4, and it says when it enters the battlefield, create 2 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. It has -6. Taunt from the Rampart. For 5, it's a sorcery. Goad all creatures your opponent controls. Until your next turn, those creatures can't block. Ooh. The Crown of Gondor. For 3, it's an equipment. For 4, and the ability costs 3 less if you activate Oh, to activate if you're the monarch. Sweet. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. When a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, if there's no monarch, you become the monarch. Alright, and here we have the cards that are reprinted, but have a new art. So I won't go over these, just a quick view on the arts. We have a Bastion Protector, Dearly Departed, Frontline Medic, Increasing Devotion, Marshal's Anthem, Selfless Squire, Unbreakable Formation, Verge Rangers, Visions of Glory, Weathered Wayfarer, ooh, nice art, the Combat Celebrant, Court of Ire, Earthquake, Flame Rush Rider, Frontier Warmonger, Harsh Mentor, Shared Animosity, Zealous Conscripts, Supreme Verdict, Door of Destinies, Vanquisher's Banner, Battlefield Forge, Clifftop Retreat, Exotic Orchard. Oh, beautiful art. Oh my goodness. I've had so many exotic orchards right now, but this is a beautiful one. Fury Calm Snarl, Glacial Fortress, Port Town, also nice, Prairie Stream, Sulphur Falls, Throne of the High City, Windbrisk Heights. Then we have Lost to Legend. And these are again new cards, I believe. Yeah. So let's go over them. Alright. No, wait, they're just uncommons. We're not going over uncommons and everything. But this is Lost to Legends. We have Erkenbrand, the Lord of Westfold. Yeah, and these are just the regular Lord of the Rings set cards. Then we go over the reprints again. Banishing Light, a Fiend Hunter, Palace Jailer, Path to Exile, Sunset Revelry, Swords to Plowshares, nice, Village Bellringer, Prince Imrahil the Fair, a Humble Defector, Theoden, King of Rohan, Arcane Signet, nice, Commander Sphere, Heirloom Blade, we have Herald's Horn, Sol Ring, ooh, look at that, it's basically the One Ring, very cool, which, yeah, there were a lot of alternate arts for Sol Ring, and the most common one was the revised version, but just altered to the One Ring. So that's really cool to have. Then we have a Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Progress, Thought Vessel, we have a Wayfarer's Bauble, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Field of Ruin, Path of Ancestry, Rogue's Passage, Secluded Courtyard, Terramorphic Expanse, Tranquil Cove, Windscarred Crag, and then we have the basic land. So we get two different kind of planes, one with Gandalf and the other with the Shire. Then we have islands, two different kinds as well, and mountains, two different kinds. Right, so that is the Éowyn Shield Maiden deck, but then again we have a collector booster here with two cards. Yeah. Oh, would be nice to pull a ring from this one then. First of all, we have, ooh, nice. It is a rare, a mythic. It is Sauron, the Lord of the Rings. For 8, we get a 9/9, and it says, when you cast this spell, amass orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It has trample, and whenever a commander an opponent control dies, the ring tempts you. And we have a foil Oliphant. Scene card. Nice. Right. There you have it. One deck. Éowyn Shield Maiden. Thank you all very much for watching. Join the Patreon if you haven't done so already, or just like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the video. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye bye.